stand up, Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Everywhere you go, your manners are with you, and they leave their mark. They help you feel sure of yourself, too, and they make an impression on people.
Demonstrators wreaked havoc in Washington, D.C. and destroyed storefront windows.
It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation.
Make political commitments to curb population growth.
We didn't simulate this. We didn't practice.
What the hell do they let the reporters in there for?
MK Ultra.
8 million adults are affected by it.
Don't try it.
There will be no outcome that leaves Saddam Hussein in power.
A brand new group called ISIL.
We're speeding up training of ISIL forces.
The one person who wasn't random was the security guard.
America was founded as a constitutional republic.
Kick the incumbents out. Send citizens to Washington.
I will totally obliterate the deep state. We will obliterate the deep state.
Let's go to everybody. Welcome to Altered State. And it is Christmas Eve. It's definitely not Christmas Eve, and I'm certainly not wearing the same shirt I just wore.
Neither am I.
Brad and Abby Live. That's a pre-record. Oh, we love you guys.
So earlier today, as I was getting ready, Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. You had mentioned that you guys did a Christmas introduction for Brad and Abby Live, and as I was getting ready this morning, I was like, maybe I should do a Christmas intro for the show. And so I started listening to Christmas carols and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Like, there's so many Christmas carols from like that version that I am like, just they're emblazoned in my mind for forever. So I kind of got stuck just like on repeat listening to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer versions of Christmas carols. And then I never made an introduction. And there was like so much going on. I was like collecting stuff about Epstein, and I wanted to make sure that I could debunk some of the fake news narratives that people were trying to push on X about it today. And
so many, dude.
Yeah, it's insane.
And they're like no budging. The comments are totally. I'm sure they're also hitting them with the appropriate amount of bots and trolls.
Yes.
Or trolls, but people to beef up their situation. But boy, man, they are out with vengeance, and it's like every 6 months, the same slew of fake news about President Trump and Epstein comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved when the first round of Democrat leaks, what was that, like a month or two ago, came out, and it showed that the Democrats were actively working with him, and it reiterated the fact that Epstein was pretty sure that Trump's the one who called the Palm Beach Police Department on him, and Stacey Plaskett and Wolf are like chumming up with the guys. So it's like, well, that was a bomb. And then now this one, we were talking before the show, right? There's two main pieces that are getting pushed around, and there couldn't be thinner sauce or proof to either one of them. They're both horrendously fake, and no one cares.
No, they don't care. What's astounding to me is like how dedicated they are to maintaining the narrative. Like they don't even attempt to justify anything that's come out that's detrimental to them. It's like they're like, we're just going to ignore everything. We're going to keep repeating the same tired old narratives, and that's going to work. One of these days it's going to work, but it's obviously not working. And I had this woman who showed up in my chat the other day on YouTube, and she was like, oh, now people are starting to see that the Epstein files are going to destroy Trump and he's hiding things. And I was like, Julia, you ignorant slut. And I launched into like this 15-minute takedown, just ripping apart any possible argument that she may have had. And anyways, it was a lot of fun, but I really love doing that. I love when people come into the chat and they try to talk some shit like that. Like today, this guy was like, oh yeah, I let me show you my thumbnail, dude, because I was actually really proud of this thumbnail today.
Yeah, I did too.
Hold on. I need to upload it. So, I was, oh God, totally forgot what I was going to say. I'm so sorry. Okay. Oh, no. Okay.
The people come in chat.
Yes. So this, oh God, you know what it is? It's like my downloads folder is just like missing from here. Oh, okay. I'll show you I got the thumbnail from the show. So anyways, I did this. I made Santa Claus arresting John Brennan in Florida because that's where the grand jury is. And this guy was like, if this would have happened, it would have happened on day one. He was like, and now Trump is best friends with Bill Clinton. WTF? And I'm like, I don't know if you're a real person or not, but it's quite obvious that Donald Trump likes to toy with people. Okay. Yes. I mean, like, so you're taking this offhand comment about, oh, wow, I feel really terrible about the things that are happening to Bill Clinton. Pictures of Bill Clinton are showing up in the Epstein files. That's just awful. I just love Bill Clinton. He's such a great guy. Go back 10 years.
Not understanding that statement, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you go back 10 years and he's like, oh, yeah, Bill Clinton, great guy, but he's going to have a big problem with that island. Okay, all the horrible, like, raping of children that took place on that island. I mean, like, people just, they get so hyper-focused on, like, one specific thing, and they throw away a decade or more worth of context in prior conversations or statements. I'm like, I was like, people would show up and say something like that. But then nobody shows up and says, wow, so Donald Trump is best friends with Chris Christie now? He said that he would never call him a fat slob today. I couldn't believe it, And I mean, like, really? Come on. I mean, like, it's obvious. Like, the whole thing, Donald Trump is trolling. He is toying with people. And I think most importantly, they're like the way that the administration is going about these investigations and prosecutions. Donald Trump has been hands off with everything. Oh, I don't know anything about that, but I can comment sort of in a general sense. If he was to come out and say, oh, yeah, I told you 10 years ago that we were going to get Bill Clinton because of that island, then they would use that as a justification to have the charges drop. They're already saying in any of these cases, like Letitia James and James Comey, oh, it's selective and vindictive prosecution. Donald Trump hasn't even come out and commented specifically on their cases. If he was going out there and hammering every single person who was under grand jury investigation, then that would give them ammunition. He's got to appear as if he is not directing anything. And for all we know, he may not be directing anything as it pertains to the actions of the Department of Justice. He may have just given a general directive, go after the people who have broken the law. And if they broke the law in trying to destroy me and the people I love, then it's totally natural for you to bring charges against them and put them in prison as long as is permissible. But if he was to be out there every day hammering away and saying, like, we've got to get this guy or we've got to get that guy or you need to do this specific thing, then it would not work out. It wouldn't work out. And, as we were saying, too, with John Brennan, his lawyers, unprecedented action of admitting that they're under grand jury investigation and he's a target, which means that he's about to be indicted. They're desperate to make sure that this case doesn't go before Judge Eileen Cannon. So they leak the fact that John Brennan is likely to be indicted in any moment, just so that they can potentially get a bit of clemency from the DC, or excuse me, from the Southern District, Florida, like judge that's overseeing all of the other judges. I mean, like, man, what a concept. I had no idea you could just like write the top judge and say, please don't allow this judge to be the one who adjudicates my case. I mean, if that works, that's going to be a shocker, real shocker.
I mean, they're so used to being above the law. So I think they have delusions of what can still be done. A lot of the things that were done back in the day when no one was watching anything just can't now. So there is a spotlight the size of the sun on everything all these people are doing. So couldn't happen to a nicer guy, and he should definitely get cannon. Trump got all the worst judges, all the most tedious judges on planet Earth were handpicked for all of his cases. So
And Judge Boasberg in D.C., he also handpicked every single case related to the challenges to the Trump administration. I mean, the guy was off. He wasn't working. He wasn't supposed to be picking from the pool of cases that weekend. He just happens to show up in his office at midnight on a Saturday. Oh, yeah, I was on vacation. I was driving home late from dinner, and I just happened to stop off. And wouldn't you know it, there's a case for Trump right there. And I'm available. It's bullshit.
Total bullshit.
Yeah.
Now, which also, we're gonna show you guys an example of the bullshit with the Epstein files that were released, and this is what I think is great. What a lot of people are missing, especially on the other side of the aisle, is this is Trump's people who released this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think it could mean if? Right now, there are things that were released that have their heads spinning, that are easily debunkable to anyone with half a brain. We're going to debunk one of them right now. But he's got them all in a tizzy. So usually, what does that mean historically? That means they're making moves. Whenever they want these people freaking out about something, dangling something here, is when they want to start doing shit. So actually, see that as a great sign that they were released. And here is probably the most laughable of all of them, but it's crazy because they're all sharing it like nuts. This has 10 million views and 285,000 likes, a million nasty comments. And this is one of several that I've seen where they're posting this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a story that was in the files about how Donald Trump, he apparently raped this girl with Jeffrey Epstein in 1995,
and then got a ride from a limo driver and was just blabbing about it on the cell phone. It's like, remember that time we raped that little girl? Oh my God, when we raped children together, Jeffrey, I love it so much. And then I had to blow her head off. Oh, tragic, but that's what happens when you're Donald J. Trump. Grab them by the pussy and then you blow their head ooff.
It's literally a fucking cartoon, right?
Yes, totally.
So this is written out again. Yeah, like Red Pill saying that she died from suicide in 2000, but the cops knew it wasn't a suicide. And so obviously she was killed.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going crazy about it. There are news reports on it, everything. The origins of this written out document are this. 1 week before the 2020 election, a guy called the FBI, claiming to be a limo driver, told them that he overheard this story while he was driving a limo with Trump in it. And that's it. And then they gave him, this is the story. Literally just a guy called up, no way to verify any of it, verbalized this, curiously timed 1 week before the 2020 election. And they wrote it down and then obviously dismissed it because it was like complete fucking bullshit. It's also mixing up the stories of the girl who did the other bullshit story right before the 2016 election.
Yeah,
who, like you were talking about before, was originally being shot by a former producer for the Jerry Springer show.
Yeah,
and then it was laughed out of court because it had no merit by an Obama appointed judge of all people. And this is in the lead up to the 2016 election. So if they could nail Trump to the wall, they would have. He's mixing up half of that story with another. I guess this is probably a real person who was killed. And this was, again, he just called up and verbally told them this, just some random guy. And it's just goofy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Goofy.
It's
very goofy. I mean, so what was so urgent that the week before the 2020 election, he suddenly had a change of conscience? I mean, from his own story, he almost stopped the car on the freeway and tore Donald Trump from the back seat of the limousine and then gave him a whooping. But he didn't think to call the FBI before the 2016 election when it was only
like right after it happened.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to wait 20, 30 years until an opportune time when this will really matter.
Yeah. And he certainly didn't think to mention it to anybody after he made contact with the girl. And then she had her head blown off to make it look like it was a cartel hit. Yeah. You know, here's the other thing. Any journalist worth their salt could have very easily looked into this little town in Oklahoma and determined if any women had their heads blown clean off in what appeared to be a suicide that met this person's description, and they would have found that it doesn't exist either. There's zero corroborating evidence for it. And, you know, this is a really important lesson, because I saw a lot of people sharing things just without any sort of, you know, closer inspection earlier today. They, you know, people have been doing that a lot recently. They just want to be the first with the tweet so that they can get the clicks and they can get, you know, the interactions and the, whatever they call it, the, what do they call it on social media when,
clout?
No, well, I mean clout, but there's like a specific like metric term for it when you're sharing something and then people are interacting with, I can't remember what it is. It's some
the impressions.
Impressions, yeah, that's probably what I'm thinking of. Anyways, so you get that, and you're one step closer to social media royalty, basically, and so it's just, you know, you could check this stuff out. Another good one, which I talked about earlier, and I know you've got pulled up, is this so-called letter from Jeffrey Epstein to Larry Nassar.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Larry Nassar was like a doctor for the MSU gymnastics team. And he was a doctor, I guess, you know, servicing a number of, you know, prepubescent and pubescent teen girls, okay, that were all in gymnastics squads. And he molested a lot of them. And these girls went to the FBI, quite a few of them, and the FBI never followed up on it. And Larry Nassar continued to abuse girls. Now, Larry Nassar got busted, and they arrested him and prosecuted him during the, can you say it with me, Brad? The Trump administration, the very first Trump administration. Isn't that interesting?
I like that.
Yeah. They chose not to do anything under the Obama administration, but they could have. Now, Larry Nassar, he was working out of Michigan State University. So this is like my backyard when I lived in Michigan. And so I took a keen interest in this story and reported on it at the time. And Larry Nassar is a total degenerate, but Jeffrey Epstein allegedly wrote this letter, you know, "Dear LN, as you know by now, I have taken the short route home. Good luck. We shared one thing, our love and caring for young ladies and the hope they'd reach their full potential. Our president shares our love of young nubile girls. When a young beauty walked by, he loved to grab snatch, whereas we ended up snatching grub in the mess halls of the system." Look at that's definitely a nice little play on words there.
People totally talk like this.
Yeah, totally.
Literally. This is like, you know, when you're watching a B movie and they're speaking everything that needs to be said about the scene so you understand what's going on, rather than, you know, good movies, they assume the audience to understand what's going on, right? They don't project. This is just the most laughable shit I've ever read, ever. And also, isn't this the time where, again, he was prosecuted under the Trump administration? And look, this is right after a certain someone was arrested. Also, during the Trump administration, a certain someone who was actively working with Democrats before this, speaking to Plaskett on the phone, talking to Michael Wolff when he's writing his book, to get Trump. How are we going to get Trump? So,
yes. So, and even with this one, there is even more journalistic integrity that you would have the opportunity to do. It's noticeable that this individual doesn't share the entirety of this letter, because the postal mark is from Virginia, which means that it was sent from Virginia. It also did not have the correct penal institution that Jeffrey Epstein was being held at. It was a different one in New York. It didn't include his inmate number, which is required for outgoing mail. It wasn't processed until 3 days after Jeffrey Epstein died. So, you know, that people might jump on a conspiracy there, but it's obvious that this was not Jeffrey Epstein sending this. Even bigger than that is that we have samples of Jeffrey Epstein's handwriting, and the handwriting does not match Jeffrey Epstein. So the whole thing is a non-starter. It's another, I go back to we've talked about this before, and Donald Trump suggested it too, that all of these files have been in the hands of Democrats for over a decade. Democrat institutions, Democrats running these institutions. And the insinuation was that they could have loaded up whatever insinuations that they may have wanted inside these documents. And it appears that that's exactly what's being done. There was a careful and coordinated effort to seed the Epstein files with perhaps fake news and information that would not pass the smell test, but would be enough to put insinuations into the minds of people. There's also another email that was sent on January 8th of 2020, so 2 days after January 6th, from someone at the SDNY, and that could have easily been Maureen Comey. Don't know because the information is redacted. But they say, heads up, we just learned that Donald Trump was flying on Jeffrey Epstein's airplane on far more occasions than we knew previously. And they go through and they list, the times that he flew and when his family was there. And all of those occasions were ones that we actually already knew. They just wrote this email with the insinuation that, oh my God, there's actually a there there. And the way we know there isn't a there is because they never did anything with it. As the DOJ themselves said today, if there was anything in these files that could successfully impugn, impeach, indict Donald Trump, the Democrats would have already used it. And they didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Because they couldn't.
It's funny. I see there's things like this. They're grasping at straws.
Mm-hmm.
This is another thing that was being shared around today. And we're like, people are going to ignore the documents released today. Oh, this is from 2024. All right, it's giving me older ones. But this is funny because this is from the Giuffre thing where it says, yes, we went to Trump's casinos. Did you actually go in the casino? Yeah. And he's acting like it's a big deal. But meanwhile, this is the very document where Virginia says that he never did anything, that they never did anything together. She never saw Trump do anything. She only knows that they're friends secondhand from Jeffrey Epstein, and that no, she never saw Trump anywhere. She never saw him do anything, which curiously, all the Epstein hubbub and all the call for the reports and everything all happened after she killed herself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Only then, because of course she was the lone survivor that was like out there speaking publicly. And once she was gone, she no longer had the ability to come out there and speak.
Yeah.
Do you remember Mark Middleton? He was the Clinton aide who worked in the Clinton White House, and he was also connected to Jeffrey Epstein. He was the one who was found on that plantation down in Arkansas, swinging by an electrical cord from like an old willow tree, and he had a shotgun blast to his chest.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So he was a major conduit for Epstein to come into the White House. Like he would be the one that would schedule Jeffrey Epstein to come in. And apparently quite often Epstein would come in with young models. And he was killed. I don't remember the exact date that Donald Trump announced that he was going to be running for president in 2022, when he announced that he was going to be, definitely going to be running in 24. But Mark Middleton was killed in like May of 2022. So, if it was either just before or just after, but certainly it would have been in close enough proximity where you could make sure like, hey, let's get rid of somebody who could really do some damage if the new Trump administration decides that's what they want to do.
Oh, yeah. Dude, these people, it's kind of sick. This is what you take on the risk when you're dealing with these type of people, but they're cleanup, man. They're cleanup crews. If you look at the Clinton body count, just in general, yeah, even if you could make the biggest argument that some of them are coincidences or some of them are just tragic events, there's like 30 names on that list. And now, they all have names on their list tied to Epstein. Several people are tied to that list. So, and also, again, that's even double Epstein and Clinton. You got the Obamas with their cook. And then now also even with Reiner, where they were supposed to meet with him the very day that he was killed. Very weird. Not sure what it means. But why are these people?
He started that group with Clapper and Brennan and I think maybe Hayden. that was specifically to work on like destroying Donald Trump. Like once again, looking at the Russia bullshit.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, was he a loose end? Did they somehow use this kid? Did the kid even do it? It's just so much random stuff, dude. That's very much there. There was a war going on behind the war you see in front of your faces.
Yes. No,
For
absolutely.
Sure. And then there's stuff like this. I'm going to show you this. Yeah, I know you've seen it. I've been seeing this shared everywhere, like frantically being shared. Ladies and gentlemen, the president of the United States, right?
Based.
And everyone's like, oh my God.
You ready? You like it? You sure? Okay. On her way
partying with chick
to work one morning, down the path along the lake.
Oh, okay, that's the thing.
Well, he's getting laid tonight. I mean,
they were all like, he's gross. What a crazy. I can't believe it. Like the comments are fucking insane. And this is where that famous clip comes from. And again, the dude was around Palm Beach all the time. People showed up. This is, Donald Trump's never shied away from this. It's actually completely fucking normal.
Yeah.
You don't know. I mean, how many people do we meet and party with or even friends with that, if you find out down the line they're sickos, you ban them from your house.
Yep.
Doesn't mean you've done crimes. So anyway, they're sharing this like at a frantic pace, like he's some kind of crazy, like this means he's a pedo. They're all of age.
Yeah, like I mean that woman's like 30 or something.
I know. Like dancing with adult women. It's like, I don't know. This just means he's a fucking pimp dog. We already knew that. So like, yeah, I don't know. I don't get these people. And it's interesting because obviously a lot of this is coming from people who align liberal and left. These are the same people who are out there doing like slut walks and the most perverted crap ever, totally degenerating society with sex everywhere and all this crazy shit. And then they're trying to take the moral high road with a video of a guy dancing with grown women. It's ironic, dude.
So I'll tell you what, the first thing that occurs to me is to retweet that and then and share it with this video.
Yes.
And say, ladies and gentlemen, the former president of the United States.
There you go. Okay.
They made a montage of these one time. First of all, they go on forever. There's endless. I was like horrified by how much I was able to find. And I put horror music to the back of it, and it really is horrifying.
Yeah, there's a lot of really gross things that you can find with Joe Biden.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember what I told you? No, not smile.
Yeah, that hand's a little high.
Hey, Angel, how old are you? You're 12. What's your name? How are you?
Yeah, that's what they call him, creepy Uncle Joe, man. This is literally the archetype for the creepy uncle that you don't leave your kids alone in the room with.
Yeah, he's like sticking his finger in that kid's mouth.
Yeah. Oh, this one's bad.
Yeah.
Ugh. Do you know what my dad used to say?
At least he's not dancing with 30-year-old women.
God.
And we'd really have an animal on our hands.
Man. Anyways, if you would send me that dude's if you would send me that tweet, I will happily retweet it with this.
I will send it right now.
Okay.
I love this idea. I went in the chat and I was just like, this makes me like Trump more, not less.
Yeah.
And there were so many comments telling me what a piece of shit I am. It's like, oh my God, dude, these people are nuts. But good times, man. I do like the fact that it looks like indictments are coming down for Brennan.
Yes.
So, indictment clauses is coming around the corner. I thought this was pretty cool. This is from an account named Zerius. But this came on my radar, and it's pretty epic.
Oh shit. They are coming. I will fuck you up. You're not an optimist.
Your awesomeness.
Can I have some milk, please?
Yes, boss.
Someday, just want to watch the world burn.
This is why I love Christmas. Things like that. I love the JD is leaning into the JD meme.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking hilarious.
Why not?
It endears me to him a lot more.
Yeah. And then but then he does stuff to show that like it's anything but some random fat jolly dude. He was doing workouts with the Marine Corps.
Yes.
The other day.
Yeah, I saw that. And then he took the picture and put the meme face over his face.
Yes. I should find that.
Oh,
that's
dude.
so good.
Yeah, he posted it on his X, so if you go there, you'll be able to find it.
Yeah, dude, I was never anti-Vance because I did like, remember when there was that spill? Was it the East Palestine? Is that what it was, Ohio?
Mm-hmm.
And, he was out there. This is my first memory of him. He was out there talking about it, and he was showing a thing in the river where it was like, if you disturb it, and all of a sudden you see those ripples, like those oil ripples, where it's like that greenish purple.
Yep.
And you couldn't see it when it was still. And he was like, we need to do something about this. I thought that was cool. And then when his name came on the radar with Trump, people were showing some of his old videos where he was talking against Trump. But I mean, he's been pretty open about changing his mind on that. And half the country had that position at one time and changed their mind. And I got to tell you, he has grown on me a lot, dude. I've really like Vance.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to begrudge anybody the right to have a political awakening or to change, the way that they think.
Navy SEALs he was with. Okay, but he's from he's a Marine, I think.
Yeah,
that's where I got.
But yeah, for him to do the meme Vance face, I think it's hilarious.
I freaking love it.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, and he's quick too. That's what I like, dude. That dude, same thing, with Trump. This is what endeared us to him is that, he's a shit talking New York construction guy who, when the snarky reporters would say stuff to him, he jumped down their throat, like off top of his head. And it's like, wow, I love this guy. That was some of the early on, this is going to be great moments. And Vance too, man. Vance he's articulate, he's quick, and he's very smart.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it. I think it's pretty amazing to see. I mean, especially like you said, the reason that initially, before I even knew anything about Donald Trump's policies in any in-depth way, simply the fact that he wasn't a politician and he was such a shit talker, and I watched the Republican primary debates, or I watched the Republican primary debates. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, this guy's a superstar. I was like, I'm going to have to go back and watch The Apprentice. Like, I don't know anything about it, Just know people love him. And
I watched one season of Celebrity Apprentice, and I remember thinking it was cool, but I never watched any of the rest of them, though. I need to watch them now with new eyes. Like, I watched one of them in live real time, but they're cool.
Yeah. But, just when he came down the escalator, and I was like, I think this is exactly what America needs. I mean, he's not a politician. He's a businessman. I had been saying for years, like, why do they not run this country like a business? Like, you cannot run a business in perpetual deficits and continue to operate. I mean, it's just not how it works. And it was obvious that if we stayed on that path, America was, going to be totally done. So the idea of him being the one to come in and do it, I was like, that's perfect. Okay, like, I'll vote for him simply based on that.
Oh, it's great, dude. Yeah, well, literally the only way they're able to exist is because they have the threat of jail pointed at all our heads if we don't continually give them 20 to 30% of everything we make. If you weren't there, the mafia, essentially. That's how the government works. They're an extortion racket.
Yep.
That would generate negative, like copious amounts of negative income if they weren't just forcing people to pay them.
Speaking about extortion rackets, do you know what today is? It's the anniversary of the creation.
Tuesday?
It's the anniversary of the creation of the Federal Reserve.
Was December 23rd?
December 23rd, yeah.
So is that 112 years now that would make it?
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
Awful, dude. I was looking at an inflation chart the other day, and it really doesn't move, because I was trying to look at what we were talking about, how Washington, right after like the Battle of Trenton and Princeton, it's the end of the year. They're on a high, but everyone's contracts were up, and they were getting beat up a lot before all that. So obviously a lot of people were ready to go home, and he gives this impassioned speech and gets them to re-sign up. But the sign-up bonus, he also gave them an extra $10. And I was trying to look at like, what is that in today's money? It wound up being a little over $300 in today's money. And I was comparing it to, the 1776 bonus that he just gave the military, which is pretty cool. But I'm looking at this inflation chart, and there's almost no inflation. I've heard people say it, but confirmed until 1913.
Yep.
And then it starts slowly trickling up. It's not crazy there, but you could tell that's the line where it starts changing. Then in like the 30s and 40s, it like just starts ramping up and never stops.
Yeah, I think we've lost 97% of our buying power since the institution of the Federal Reserve. Yeah.
Brutal, bro.
Yeah, dude. That is insane.
Yeah, that is insane. Absolutely.
Well, I hope they do something about that, because it's just the other thing that I really love that we're seeing right now is the exposure of all of the institutionalized fraud, and it's all coming out through Minnesota.
Yeah.
Because when you extrapolate the level of fraud that we're seeing in one state out to 50 states, and you realize that it's happening inside every single federal agency that provides money to these states. We're talking maybe $20 billion a year just in Minnesota.
Jeez,
and that's not even accounting for everything. Like it could be a lot higher than that. And you do that for all 50 states, and it's obviously going to be a little bit better, maybe a little bit worse in some other states. California, I would imagine, is real bad. New York, I would imagine, is probably real bad.
Yeah.
But
if it probably evens out to what, man? If it evens out to 15, times 50, you're talking about a lot freaking money. You're talking about $750 billion. Yeah.
So getting close to $1 trillion a year just in fraud.
Right, 15 billion times that would be 150 and 5. Yeah, damn, dude, that's nuts, man. And again, these are different things. So we were talking about the deficit, talking about the Federal Reserve. These are all things that are drains on it, that he's removing a lot of the drains. So that's how what's the first thing you do when you have a wound? First thing you do is stop the bleeding, right?
Yep.
That's what we're doing at the border right now. Like, you have this infection that is unvetted illegal aliens that's in the country. The first thing you do is you cut off the border. You stop the bleeding. Then as you're treating it, right? And you're trying, ICE is deporting. And so here you go with all the different waste and abuse of our system. They're stopping that bleeding. And then he's going to start working towards the deficit. And we're talking about the Federal Reserve. And a friend told me one time that gold brings down the Fed. And here we go. Trump announces $1.3 billion in sales of gold card visas. I love this program. I love the idea of, you want to come here, earn it. Also, too, is, you can only get the application, right? So you're not guaranteed, but I think it was $1 million.
Yep.
to go there, and you could get up to 5 of them. And if someone's paying that money, first of all, it's not, it's someone who is a higher stature. It's not just bringing in a refugee.
Mm-hmm.
So that cuts that out right off the bat. But again, he's putting the proceeds towards paying down the national debt. He also talked about putting a lot of the tariff proceeds. Well, once that all starts really turning over, putting that towards paying off the national debt, and putting a lot of things, dude. This guy might be one of the first people, when all is said and done, to actually make a significant dent on it.
I mean, I think he's the only one. I mean, they famously had a balanced budget under Bill Clinton, but they squandered that very, very quickly. I don't know how they did that, but with, I mean,
that's just a balanced budget. We still had debt, right?
Still had a debt. Yes. We weren't spending more than we were bringing in, but we still, had all of the debt that arrived before that. But I mean, so this is the ultimate point here. You've got 1,300 millionaires minimum. Don't know how many of them are billionaires. All of them are going to be business owners. All of them, I would imagine, are coming here to start companies. They're not just going to come holiday in America. They're getting citizenship. If every single one of them is granted citizenship, but I mean, they're just paying for the opportunity to potentially become a citizen. And those are the exact people that you want to come to America. Yeah, of course you do. You don't want high value individuals. I would say that a multi-millionaire who's going to start a business and employ American people is a much higher value applicant than, say, like, a doctor or a physicist or something like that. I mean, they may be valuable in a particular sense, but it would be far more valuable to have somebody come here and to bring money, create money, invest, and help build up the nation for the future. I mean, and if they have kids, then they would have a vested interest in making America a better place and ensuring that their children are going to be able to thrive.
Oh, of course, dude. You spend that money. It's like anything in life, right? If it's given to you, you don't appreciate it as much as when you earn it and you pay for it. So that's someone who's going to appreciate being here. It's the same thing he did with the H-1B visas. And everyone was like, I can't believe Trump is still in favor of these things that have been around literally our whole lives. We just didn't know about them. And then it turns around that he put $100,000 price tag on. So the people, you want to come over here and you want to do it, you're going to have to bring some money into the country. And it's going to be proof that you're either sponsored by someone who really believes in you, or that you are a successful person to begin with. So bringing in high caliber people, that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But definitely the gold card. I love where you're saying that, because it's definitely business owners. You're bringing in people who want to, who are going to regenerate and reinvigorate our economy. So awesome.
And in relation to the H-1Bs, they just announced today another change to the program. So first of all, that $100,000 is also just an application fee. That's not a guaranteed H-1B visa. You also have much stricter controls on the application process. So even after you've paid that $100,000, that application can be rejected. And even if somebody is approved for an H-1B visa, they can have it stripped for any reason. But they have created a tier system. So there's tiers of income levels. And you've got tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4. And it's a lottery. Previously, there would be a maximum of 65,000 H-1B recipients every year. And every single one of those applicants would go into a lottery, and then they would choose 65,000 of them. It would be at random. Now, depending on how much money that person is going to be paid for the work they're doing here in the United States, if you're tier 4, your name goes into the lottery 4 times. If you're tier 3, that name goes in 3 times, tier 2, 2 times, tier 1, 1 times. So you have 4 times the chance of being chosen if you're part of that high income group. And it's a lot more likely that we're going to get mostly people along those lines. Now, think about this too. A lot of those people were coming in to work like some high skilled jobs like IT, but they were being paid low wages. So what are the chances that a company like Amazon is going to bring in, 10,000 Indians, or Microsoft is going to bring 10,000 Indians in, pay them the bottom tier wage so that they can beat out Americans for the job, and be willing to pay them $100,000 just for the application? Like, that person is going to have to be more valuable than the $100,000 application fee. So it's naturally going to push the quality of those H-1B applicants up higher, and it'll make it less likely that they're going to flood the market. Now, they also said that if they believe that your intention is to bring them here under one reason and then put them in another job, they'll go ahead and kick you out and they won't accept you, or they'll take your H-1B visa away. Yeah, whole bunch of different things that they're doing to ensure that the people who are coming here are high paid and are here to do a job that, for whatever reason, an American isn't able to do at this time.
Right. Yeah. So that's a great point, that they're going to target more. Companies are going to want to pay for top of the line positions, but you're more incentivized to hire local now, since it's going to save you $100,000 per person.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I mean, President Trump, he said this a couple of months ago too, and people got really upset. He was talking about allowing these H-1Bs for these high skilled jobs because, right now we are building this new infrastructure and a pipeline to develop certain manufacturing verticals that we don't have here in America right now. And so necessarily we have to have at least some H-1B people who are doing that job in another country come here so that they can train Americans, so that then we can transition from that H-1B, because that person's going to have to pay $100,000 every single year if they want to keep them here. And that way the company will have the incentive to train Americans and then have them do it. Somebody was flaming me in the chat. I was like, I'm not going to be able to show up at an NVIDIA or an Intel factory and just fabricate silicon for graphics cards or AI data centers. I could do a lot of stuff, but I have no idea what I would be doing in that instance, and somebody's like, you just watch a YouTube video on it. Like, give me a break. Okay. It's a little bit more of a high skilled position than that. There are other things that go into it. You're not just standing there. It's not like you're on a metal press or something like that.
It's not the specialty board at Burger King. All right.
Yeah,
you can't just watch a training video and go, oh, I'm ready to go.
So, ultimately, I feel like President Trump is keeping all of his promises. Every single thing that he has said that he's going to do, he is doing. And the things that people didn't understand, I feel like it's becoming more obvious why they're doing it the way that they do. And everything seems to be based on the idea that we're going to make as much money so that we can pay off the debt, so that we don't have to default. And ultimately, it looks like so that we don't have to tax American citizens anymore. We can just get rid of the IRS.
Oh, without a doubt, dude. And so many things he's doing is working towards that. Here's a great thing from Bessent yesterday. And again, more going after cutting off, stopping the bleeding with our hemorrhaging money system.
At President Trump's direction, the Treasury Department is utilizing all tools to stop terrorist cartels, drug smugglers, and human traffickers. In line with that effort, I'm announcing a new data-driven border operation to help root out potential cartel-related money laundering from the U.S. financial system. Treasury's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, known as FinCEN, is targeting over 100 money service businesses along the southwest border. Specifically, FinCEN is issuing 6 notices of investigation, dozens of examination referrals to the IRS, and over 50 compliance outreach letters. These businesses, which provide financial services outside of a formal bank, face elevated exposure to illicit activity, including money laundering related to drug smuggling and human trafficking. Thanks to Treasury's push for technology modernization, we are now able to implement data-driven approaches to identify potential bad actors. And when malicious activity is identified, make no mistake, we can and will take action to keep Americans safe. President Trump has made clear his commitment to securing our border, stopping the flow of deadly fentanyl, and eliminating Mexico-based drug cartels to protect Americans. Treasury will continue to expand advanced technology and every resource at its disposal to combat money laundering and make America safe again.
Yeah, see, the old, what, the Biden DOJ or the Biden IRS and Obama, they go after Americans, right? What was the one? Or like anything over $600 is the latest one that they're going to do an investigation. You know, these guys, they're going into U.S. money services businesses along the Southwest border to make sure they're not money laundering. That money too is money that's taken out of our economy and sent south of the border. So that's another drain on our economy.
Well, and it's also strengthening the cartels, and it's creating bonds between cartels south of the border and likely American citizens and probably illegals that are also involved in these businesses because they're situated so close to the border. So, yeah, I mean, there are so many different people here in the United States that are wrapped up in various aspects of the cartel and the perpetuation of the death that is created from the drugs and from the money and the gang violence and anything we can do to put a stop to it. You know, I mean, like, can you just go back to the 1950s when the worst thing that would happen is like maybe, you know, somebody drank too much, but even the people who drank too much were like, they had their lives together. They had jobs, they had families. And eventually when drugs sort of overtook America, things really went to shit. You know, I mean, like it was a noticeable decline. And if we can overcome that, I think that America will be in a really good spot.
Yeah, the drug epidemic is really just saturated society in a pretty terrible way. And I think they're definitely making the biggest strides ever. We were talking about, what was last week? We were talking about the DARE program, right? And that's how I learned about weed and stuff like that. You know, that was really a war on the American people. And yeah, I feel like I was the very tail end of the war on drugs. I've talked about it before here. When I was 20 years old, I was arrested for a couple bags of pot. It was just like a joke. To me, it wasn't a joke at the time, but in hindsight, it's like, taking at me, I'm just a random kid, you know, spreading pot around with my friends. This is an actual war on drugs going on right now, for real. This isn't just taking like kids who are just out of high school and ruining their lives over a dime bag. This is actually going after cutting off the border, cutting off fentanyl, going after narco drug smugglers. This is a real effort. It's the actual war on drugs, the way it should have been and would have been if it was real to begin with.
And cutting off a significant source of revenue for CIA black ops as well, which is huge. Absolutely huge.
We've covered many times on this program right here. Yeah. So it's, I really love what's going on. It's cool when you really stack them up, and Trump did a great job of doing that in his speech the other day. And I know everyone, sometimes they're like, we know this stuff already. Well, we do, but no one else is reporting it. So it's like he's the president. He has the ability to hold the nation's attention. I like that he's just using it from time to time. But like, oh, by the way, here's the 800 things I did so far that no one is talking about.
It is incredible. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot happening that I never really believed could possibly happen. And, you know, in the last couple of years, I've come to believe that it was possible. But, you know, prior to that, no, I never would have believed it. And it is a wonderful thing to see. You know, Brad, it is Christmas. And we've had a history over the last couple of years of checking in with Rand Paul. He's kind of pissing me off recently, but
yeah, but this is so great.
Yeah, Rand Paul's Festivus report. If you guys have not seen Brad and I talk about the Festivus report in the last couple of years, this is his annual report detailing the various forms of wasteful spending inside the federal budget. And he says that this year the waste tally is 1.6 trillion. We'll just say 1.6 trillion. So that's a lot of money, definitely a lot of money. But when you go and you actually take a look and see what it is that they're spending money on, it gets even more ridiculous. Let me go ahead and blow this up for us. Happy Festivus.
Was the one from last year where they were doing like monkeys on steroids or some shit like that?
Oh, I mean, they did monkeys on steroids. They did like drugs. There were sex changes on mice. There was a whole bunch of just insane things that they were doing. But he writes, Happy Festivus. How is 2025 nearly already over? What a year it's been. So much has happened since last year's Festivus report. Katy Perry went to space. We all found out nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. Do you know what he's talking about? Hold on. It's a meme. Hold on. So what they do
I don't think I do.
Okay, hold on. So what they'll do is they will take a video of like people basically behaving really poorly, and then they have this commercial, like it's an English commercial, and it says nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. And okay, here's one actually from the summer that ICE, the White House did for ICE sending people home.
Oh, beautiful.
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.
That is brutal.
Now, with Jet 2 holidays.
All right. So let me find another one. Which we can see if I can find one that looks like it'll be good. Oh God!
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday, and right now you can save £50 per person.
Did he just shit?
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday, and right now you can save £50 per.
Oh, look at fire hose!
He just
what are they feeding this kid?
Oh my God! I can't believe that. I've seen quite a few of like people getting into fights at like, I don't know, Popeye's Chickens or things like that, you know. Oh my God. All right, I got nothing else right now, but you get the idea.
Yeah, that's a closer right there, right? It was like, get me off this guy's lap. How do I get off this guy's lap without making it awkward?
All right. The Wicked press tour flooded our feeds. The Pope is now American, and SNL turned 50 years old. And of course, because hiding waste is a year-round endeavor, my committee continued conducting effective oversight over USAID's reckless spending and even held a hearing on it. Last Festivus, we clamored over the national debt reaching an astronomical $36 trillion. Shockingly, in one short year, the career politicians and bureaucrats in Washington have managed to reach nearly $40 trillion in debt without so much as a second thought. When asked who's to blame for our crushing debt, the answer is everyone. This year, Congress voted to raise the debt ceiling by $5 trillion, the most we ever have. Congress keeps shoveling money toward pet projects and special interests, while hardworking Americans pay the price through inflation and crushing interest rates, even after President Trump took action to end most foreign aid programs. From a $20 billion bailout for Argentina to continue funding global health programs through waivers, Washington found new ways to keep the cash flowing. And with every new handout, the mountain of debt grows ever higher. For the first time in 50 years, President Trump deployed a pocket rescission, canceling $5 billion in foreign aid and international organization funding. While it's a good start, it's just a drop in the bucket. The Congressional Budget Office predicts we will add an average of $23.9 trillion in debt annually for the next decade. Annually? That means every freaking year. We've got a $40 trillion debt right now, and he's saying we're going to add 23.9 annually? What?
It can't be right.
And the interest is compounding at this point. The U.S. government will add. No, this is it. No. Okay. So that 23.9 is over the next decade. The U.S. government will add over $6.53 billion of debt every single day for the next 10 years. We borrow over $272 million every hour. We borrow $4.5 million every minute, and we borrow over $75,000 every second. This year, I am spotlighting a jaw-dropping amount of government waste, the kind that makes you wonder if anyone in Washington has ever heard the word priorities. A grand total of $1,135,135,969,608, which includes $1.22 trillion in interest payments on the debt. Holy crap.
It's always funny. Like I always, every year we go over this every year. I think the same thing. Like, who's that going? That's to the Federal Reserve?
Yes.
Tell them to piss off.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's like, how are we going to fix this? I know. Get out of our country right now before I take the rest of your money.
Yeah, I mean, just tell them like, okay, this our debt is our debt now because you are now back to being a part of the federal government. Okay, we discovered cash going towards experiments teaching ferrets to binge drink alcohol and dosing dogs with cocaine again. Then there were taxpayer dollars spent on safe spaces at a private university. It wouldn't be a Festivus waste celebration without mentioning the $2.1 million spent for researchers to collect saliva samples and survey partiers at EDM clubs and festivals in New York City about their drug use.
Who got away with that one?
Wow. He's like, listen, boss, I'm going to have to go to that Crazy Daisy Chain festival this weekend, and I'm going to need a little petty cash to get some ecstasy because, when in Rome.
All right, write it up, Johnson. We need this informal talk.
Okay. White coat waste helped uncover hundreds of millions of your hard-earned tax dollars funding labs, gain-of-function research, brutal experiments on dogs, monkeys, and rats. That includes over $13.8 million on beagle experiments, $14,634,280 to make monkeys play the Price is Right inspired video game. Oh my God.
I mean, that one might have been worth it. I don't know.
They got it on film. No matter how much taxpayer money Washington burns through, politicians can't help but demand more. Fiscal responsibility may not be the most crowded road, but it's one I've walked year after year, and this holiday season will be no different. So before we get to feats of strength, it's time for my airing of spending grievances. I've got a lot of bones to pick with reckless federal spending, and now you're going to hear every one of them. Happy Festivus. Okay, so this report features TikTok therapy, fighting drugs with influencers. That was an HHS program spending $1.5 million to reduce drugs specifically in Latinx communities. Cartoon climate crusaders in Pakistan. State Department gave $244,000 to Stand for Peace in Islamabad to produce a television cartoon series that teaches kids in Pakistan how to fight climate change. So this is like the halal version of Captain Planet or something. Lights, camera, diplomacy. The U.S. Department of State spent $1.5 million to promote films, television shows, and video games abroad. Weight loss by Wi-Fi. HHS is spending $1.9 million on a hybrid mobile phone family intervention designed to reduce childhood obesity among Latino families in Los Angeles County.
Only Latino families in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
You want to reduce childhood obesity? Bro. We have been doing, Abby's been doing like a no sugar diet, right? I've been doing it with her. And actually I feel great, by the way. We're about 3 weeks in. Every last thing in the entire effing supermarket has added sugar in it.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Everything. Like cans of peas have added sugar. It's the most eye-opening thing ever in my entire life. And one of the things we were finding out is that with added sugar, since it's not in a molecule, it just goes immediately to your blood, spikes your insulin, and then it shuts off your fat burning for hours and hours on end. That's the psyop. The fact that like vegetables and salad dressing, you know, all these things that you're like, oh, I thought I was doing good by doing XYZ. They all have added sugar in them.
Yep.
The people are constantly shutting off their fat burning.
It's true. And when I went, it was basically keto, you know, but I mean, when I went, you know, off of processed sugar and, you know, stayed away from it in, you know, every form that I could, I lost more weight than I ever had. I mean, I got leaner. I had more energy. I never felt hungry. That was the thing.
Yeah.
Like when you eat sugar and your insulin crashes, then you know when you need to eat because you have to, like, you know, get your system moving again. I would, you know, constantly have like these just like, you know, totally off feelings, and I would have to get something in my body. And now, you know, I don't have to worry about that anymore. Like, it never happens to me now.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, it's so eye-opening. And like you said, the energy, it's like crazy. It's like you would think sugar would give you the energy, you know?
Yeah.
But
it's insane. Okay, so more COVID panic
I just
theater.
saved them $1.9 million.
HHS spent over $40 million on influencers to promote getting vaccinated against COVID-19 for racial and ethnic minority groups. Doom scrolling studies. HHS is giving $2.9 million to the University of Michigan to study the effect of screen time on parent-child relationships. Spoiler alert, it ruins it. Make vegetables more inclusive. USDA spent $141,517 to create a resilient and equitable local food network that prioritizes culturally relevant food for low-income LGBT people of color from the Bronx and Brooklyn, your old stomping grounds, Brad.
That's old. That's oddly specific.
It is very oddly. On the operating table, HHS spent $6.9 million using data to analyze and model trauma and surgery outcomes in sub-Saharan Africa. Okay, so I'm just imagining an operating theater in sub-Saharan Africa. Probably going to be dusty, not going to be sterile. Outcomes are not that good.
We need a Badlands grant writer. Holy shit, they're giving out money for anything.
I mean, I used to do that, Brad. Like, I could write grants I might be able to actually find money that would be available for Badlands. But the truth of the matter is, anybody that gives money for like media or independent media, the news, journalism, that sort of thing, it's going to be coming from like Tides Foundation type places. You know, I mean, like it's from overwhelmingly left-wing organizations. There would have to be like a conservative foundation or nonprofit that was specifically looking to incubate and you know, help finance an organization like this. I just don't think they exist, to be honest with you.
They definitely don't. But they don't need to know. I mean, this could be the Badlands teaching pugs how to play the Price is Right. You know, we don't monkeys. I'm sorry, but
our luck, you know, because you're supposed to check. Right. I mean, like they're supposed to be checking to make sure that what they're giving money for is actually being used effectively. But it seems like most of these programs, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, I mean, you can just get money for funding and nobody is holding you accountable. But in our instance, they would actually check and they'd be like, you know, we gave you
one time. Yeah.
We gave you $21 million. And how many studies with the Price is Right on your pug did you do? We did about 30 minutes.
That's some high-end 30 minutes right there.
Yeah. Let's see. Woke U. HHS gave $3.3 million to Northwestern University so they can hire 15 people, erect scientific neighborhoods, install safe space ambassadors, and form endless committees to dismantle systemic racism.
Oh, thank God.
Bears, drag queens, and bureaucracy. HHS.
How did bears get in there? What the fuck is going on?
I think they mean like large, hairy gay men. If I had to guess, in this instance, it's probably not a grizzly.
It's so insulting.
It's
so funny.
HHS. That's what they have. Like they have like levels of, I guess, characteristics. Like, you know, there's like people are gonna be like, how the hell do you know this, Zach? I've seen people discuss this. So like bears, I'm pretty sure are like the hairy, like big dudes. Like otters are like the little, like wiry guys, and What's another one? There's got to be. I think there's at least a couple of more, but like I know I've heard that term before.
You know, I'm so tuned to bears now that I live in Alaska. I was just like, whoa, what? Is there a bear drag queen problem? Like, where is this going? Okay.
All right.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
So they spent $936,000 on marketing campaigns, advisory boards, and engagement strategies targeting niche subcultures in Los Angeles. Specifically, there we go, bear cub. That's what I meant. Bear cub.
Bear cub. Oh,
yeah, the bears are the big ones. Cubs are the little ones. Drag queen and queer punk rock scenes about STD testing and treatment capacity. Saliva swabs and Sandstorm. HHS spent $2.1 million for researchers to collect saliva samples and conduct surveys at EDM clubs and festivals in New York City about drug usage. This would have been the one that I would have gone for. Pandemic profiteering. The U.S. Agency for International Development gave EcoHealth Alliance $54 million to collect bat coronaviruses and transport them to Wuhan for gain-of-function experiments. Still, after all of it,
what?
They were still doing this in 2025, apparently. How is that even possible?
What?
That's
Why?
Bro, that's insane.
That's nuts.
Okay, so Fauci's Beagle labs live on. NIH extended funding for Dr. Fauci's Beagle experiments, costing taxpayers $13.8 million. Coked up canines redo. NIH spent $5.2 million to dose dogs with cocaine again. Ferrets on a booze binge. The Department of Veterans Affairs wasted over $1 million teaching teenage ferrets to binge drink alcohol. Bird-brained spending in China. The Biden U.S. Department of Agriculture funded so that says the Biden. So this has got it can't all be from 2025. This has got to be from.
Oh, so maybe you get the report. Maybe it's like a year back.
Yeah, could be. Maybe. Yeah. So maybe this is 2024. The Biden U.S. Department of Agriculture funded a $1 million collaboration to soup up bird flu viruses with the Wuhan Institute of Virology's parent organization and researcher affiliated with WIV. Press Start to Waste. The National Science Foundation spent $497,200 on a video game challenge for children. The Price is Wrong for Monkey Plinko. NSF and other federal agencies paid $14.6 million to make monkeys play a Price is Right inspired video game. Marine Mammal Money Pit. The Department of Defense is spending an estimated $77 million a year on an unnecessary dolphin training program that Congress won't let end. Grants for Guatemalan gender bending. USAID squandered $2 million for gender-affirming care, activism, and influence campaigns in Guatemala. Bug buffets. NSF committed $2.4 million to programs that promote insects as foods for humans.
That's sinister.
It is sinister.
That is sinister. Well, I guess they all kind of are.
Bro, there are cultures around the world where they eat bugs. Like, I mean, it's just like they've been doing it for centuries. Okay. Like in China, they eat silkworm pupae. They make they make this boiled silkworm pupae and then they put it on like a shish kebab, and they eat it off, or they've got like a plate full of them and they soak them in vinegar. It's like absolutely disgusting. I would never do it. I'd eat a lot of stuff, but like like the organ meat of fish, or like I don't know, certain like rotten fermented foods. I saw this show where they ate rotten fermented stingray, and they said it smelled like death. Like I know. I mean, I don't want to eat anything that smells like it's been laying on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Or bugs. I don't want to eat bugs, but I mean, they are obsessed with getting us to eat bugs because, I mean, obviously it's very easy to do that. Oh, they eat giant centipedes in China too. Let's see.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Not interested.
You know what I want to know? Going back to the cocaine one, like, where are they buying $5 million worth of cocaine? Like, are they then arresting the people that they're buying it off? Like, how does that work?
So cocaine is actually a medical product. So they are likely sourcing pure cocaine for medical research exclusively through particular laboratories that have a permit from the U.S. government to source it from Colombia.
Wow.
Yes, and I that's another one of those weird things I just happen to know.
Just don't bring it here on a boat.
Yeah, then you'll be in a world of hurt. Not the BLT you're thinking of. DOD funded $2.8 million in grants that have paid for aborted human fetal tissue to be implanted in humanized mice. 1.22 trillion and climbing in interest payments. Americans shelled out 1.22 trillion in fiscal year 2025 to cover the interest on Washington's maxed out tab. COVID cash grab. Schools received nearly $200 billion in COVID relief funds, which was wasted on things like rooms at Caesar Palace, renting out MLB stadiums, and ice cream trucks. The final frontier of fiscal folly. NASA paid a $1.8 billion overage for a shuttle that was 6 years behind schedule and stranded astronauts in space. Billions for chargers, not much charge. The Biden Department of Transportation received $7.5 billion from Congress to fund electric vehicle charger stations nationwide, but only 68 charging stations are up and running. Migrant money grab. HHS blew through $22.6 billion on migrant programs that paid for things like furniture, car repairs, home down payments, as well as welfare for illegal immigrants. A very Fed season of giving to Wall Street and foreign banks. The Fed paid out $187 billion in interest on reserve balances payments last year alone. Here's a sneak peek at 2026. Gender affirming care, an LGBTQ children's hospital, $2 million to a San Diego hospital running a pediatric gender affirming care center that facilitates gender transition surgeries for kids. That is obviously not going to happen now that they've just gotten rid of it.
Yeah.
Tiny town, giant tab. Oh, look at this. $2 million to a tiny town in Alaska with just 67 residents.
Hey, man, you know what? That's okay. We can keep that one.
We can go ahead and be down with that one.
I know of no such town.
Doctors diagnose gas stoves and Trump as public threats. $700,000 to a Boston chapter of an organization that supports protest rallies against President Trump, hates gas stoves, and more.
You know, the gas stoves, the natural gas push is odd because natural gas push burns cleaner.
Oh,
propane
way cleaner.
Burns cleaner than everything.
Yeah. Well,
why are they targeting that? Because they're really in New Jersey too. Before I moved, huge push against gas stoves.
Because they wanted to push everything over to electric. They wanted to get rid of natural gas going into people's homes. They wanted to obviously kill the natural gas industry here in the United States. And, they shut down refineries and they quit drilling. It was all about moving everything over to green energy, which is just electric energy, which of course is still produced using fossil fuels.
And how do people use their generators? They're usually hooked up to natural gas lines.
Natural gas or propane. You know, what I would love for you to do, Brad, is to create a biogas generator so that so you can harvest that stuff and then you can use it for cooking. And I got so many people that I watch that are off grid. They've got a biogas generating station and they use that for cooking and stuff.
They take it from the ground?
Well, it's basically like they have like all of their compost that goes into this like bladder. Okay. And then the gas rises up inside there and then it goes off into a tank and then they can use that to cook.
Yeah, that's definitely doable. My mother-in-law has a pretty rocking compost outside and it does get hot. It's funny. It literally just starts breaking itself down. It's interesting to watch.
Yeah, very cool.
Up close, yeah.
I'll see if I can't find the best value biogas generator that you guys could use.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. Yeah, I'm totally down. And while we're talking about cool things, I am a fan of crypto, as many people here are. And you can stack sats with River, the Bitcoin-only platform built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. Yes, why River? There's zero fee reoccurring buys. So you can stack your Bitcoin effortlessly, hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly. 3.5% Bitcoin interest on cash. It's pretty huge. FDIC insured, no minimums, withdraw anytime. Expert US-based support. So you get human help plus private clientele services for the big guys with over 100K in their accounts. You got business accounts. So you can boost your balance sheet with Bitcoin and earn 3.5% paid in. BTC. Top tier wallets, you can send, receive, and manage Bitcoin securely. Unmatched security, full reserve custody, multi-sig cold storage, and proof of reserves. So join the Bitcoin revolution at badlandsmedia.tv/river and earn real returns. That's badlandsmedia.tv/river. And what goes hand in hand with that is your Trezor wallet. So your crypto deserves the ultimate protection, and that's what Trezor delivers. It offers a secure and user-friendly solution for managing your digital assets. It delivers on its promise of robust security, providing a crucial layer of protection against online threats and unauthorized access. Since 2014, over 2 million users have trusted Trezor, the world's first hardware wallet, to secure the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and over 9,000 other coins and tokens. With state-of-the-art encryption and offline storage, Trezor keeps your assets safe from hackers, malware, and exchange breaches. Its open source design ensures transparency, while the Trezor Suite app managing your portfolio a breeze. Buy, sell, swap, and trade with ease. With Trezor, you can confidently manage your cryptocurrencies, knowing that your digital wealth is protected by industry-leading security protocols. So go badlandsmedia.tv/Trezor to get your Trezor and safeguard your crypto with confidence. So let me check those out. And then, of course, our good friends.
Soft Disclosure just dropped new favorites for the season. The lotion, your 5-ounce favorite, is still here. And now we've added full 11-ounce bottles. New Lavender Tea Tree Deodorant, clean, calm, and effective. New Tallow Bars, Chamomile Lemon Rose and Naked. Rich moisture that actually works. And now the lineup is complete. Beard oil in unscented and spiced vanilla. Palo lip balms, available in chamomile mint, vanilla, naked, and vanilla tangerine. Palo Bar Minis for pocket-ready hydration. Available in vanilla coffee and naked. And finally, lavender vanilla lotion. Clean, calm, and made to work. Visit softdisclosure.com. Use code Badlands and get 15% off. Soft Disclosure, for truth you can gift.
Boom. And thank you to our sponsors. And
thank you.
Now, we're talking about the waste, right? We're annual, looking at the Festivus report. It's always fun. We were talking about the money beforehand, a lot of the things Trump is putting in place, what his administration. Did you see this? U.S. economy grows by 4.3% in third quarter, much more than expected. Delayed reports show. Dude, the estimates were rowdy low for this quarter. And so it's becoming a much greater than expected pace in the third quarter, boosted by strong consumer spending. And delayed report released Tuesday shows. And Trump was given a lot of credit to this, to the tariffs. So, that's something that he has wanted to do for a long time, long before he ran for presidency. And so it seems to be coming around. And like I said, man, by next summer, things are going to be flipped on their head with it right now. We were in a bit of a gray area in the beginning. It says U.S. gross domestic product, a sum of all goods and services provided, sprawling U.S. economy expanded by 4.3% in the July to September period. Commerce Department said in its initial reading of the third quarter growth. Economists polled by Dow Jones expected a gain of 3.2%. Consumer spending expanded by 3.5% in the third quarter after rising 2.5% in the second quarter. Increases in exports and government spending also boosted growth, while a smaller dip in private fixed investment helped as well. Yeah, that's important too, is bringing in a lot of private money, is bringing a lot of foreign investment. A lot of the bleeding is getting cut off and a lot of new avenues are being brought in. And that's going to be great for taxes going forward, because I know everyone, they ran a lot of like Lutnick and a lot of people, and Trump himself were toying around with the idea of doing away with income taxes. And then we're like 1 month in the administration, even like 6 months in, and people were like, why do they still exist? Well, they got to do it first, give them a little time. And man, it looks like it's ramping towards this exact sort of thing.
I think 2026 is going to be huge. And the first quarter, for the growth that we've had thus far, to see what it could potentially be going into 2026. I think that I would not be surprised if it doubled. I mean, we're going to have so much money being invested here, and all of those tariffs are going to be rolling in. I mean, it's unprecedented, the amount of investment and the creation of jobs. You know, I mean, it's, we've created as many American jobs as we have deported illegal aliens. And, and not all of those jobs
really
are
double open job openings then.
Yes. And so as we continue to get rid of these people, I mean, think about all those houses that these people bought and all their possessions. And, down here in Florida, I really hope this is going to happen. It's supposed to be on the ballot for the midterms here, but they're going to give us the ability to vote to get rid of property taxes down here in Florida.
Oh, and yes, dude.
Yeah, that's huge. And, they don't, not everybody would be, not able to pay property taxes. It would be Florida residents. So people who have homesteaded properties down here, people who are full-time residents of Florida, or you got to live here 6 months or more. And then you can have a homestead exemption on your property taxes, which gives you a little bit of a discount. But that would mean that, people like investment properties, places like BlackRock, if they have properties, they're going to have to continue to pay. Landlords, if they've got rental properties, they're going to have to continue to pay. Airbnbs, they're going to have to continue to pay. People who have vacation homes down here in Florida, they're going to have to continue to pay. And it would be such a game changer for people who actually live here. And there are so many people who have been priced out of Florida in just the last couple of years because of the explosion in so-called property values. And, what many of these cities down here have done is, just double people's property taxes, take that money and spend it on a bunch of stuff that was totally unnecessary. And we've got our own guy down here who's like the Doge guy for Florida Doge. And he's been going to all of these different major cities and examining their finances and then pointing out, how they're screwing over the people and showing, hey, it is totally not necessary to be charging this much in taxes for the amount of growth that you've had. And then also giving back nothing in terms of like services or value to the people who live there. You're just bleeding them dry. So, yeah, there's a way to do it and to continue to offer services and keep schools funded, make sure you still have cops. You just can't be spending money on things that don't matter. No grants to woke organizations, no outrageous raises for people who don't deserve it. You don't need to keep hiring people simply because you got money coming in. So, yeah, it's going to be a very different world here starting next year.
Dude, that is great. I view property taxes as like one of the most egregious attacks on civil rights. And I mean, it's socialism. You don't own your property. You can buy your property outright, pay off that last dime on your house. And if you start missing property tax payments, they will eventually seize your house that you own. It's supposed to be your sovereign property. So I hate that. And there are ways, you're right. There are ways to, obviously it's always billed as, well, this is how we pay for the cops and the fire department and the garbage and stuff. And it's like, well, does that mean you need $6,000 a year for me and every single other person in this neighborhood every year? Like, it's pretty nuts when you start running the numbers.
They are also going to be passing a law which would allow neighborhoods to disband their HOA. And I know that's going to piss off some people in the audience, but here's the thing. If the HOA is actually providing a service and it's not taking advantage of people, then there won't be any reason to get rid of it. Like if people like their HOA and it actually keeps the neighborhood, up and running as it's supposed to, and they're not just, slapping fees on people for stupid things, then those HOAs aren't going to go anywhere. But the ones who are corrupt, they will likely be disbanded. It'll also give Florida residents the ability to sue their HOAs because there's going to be like a whole separate like HOA court system that would be set up as a result of it. And, the only thing that I don't like about HOAs or any organization, any institution, any bureaucracy is when corruption exists. The theory of an HOA, making sure that people have their home and their yard up to a certain standard, that's totally understandable. Okay. If people want to enter into an agreement to do that, that's great. But there are plenty of places where people take advantage, and it's not the HOA itself. It's the corrupt individual who ends up getting power inside the HOA. It's just like, the government of the United States as, a dispassionate and non-living entity itself is not corrupt. It's the bad people who end up becoming powerful inside that system who take advantage of it and twist it for their own personal gain. And, and so that's why I'm not like, we need to, completely destroy the government of the United States. We just need to get rid of the people who are corrupt.
Yeah. These just needs a cleansing.
Yeah.
And that's, it's what seems to be happening. It's what I like. A lot of people, right? They have a list of maybe 10, 20 people that they need to see arrested, or else they don't care about a single other thing. Like, those people are all washed up assets. I definitely want them to see them arrested. I think they deserve to be punished for what they did, right? I see them as almost usurpers, right? But those people are already replaced. They're just pawns for the system. You have to break down the system. You're just gonna like what? So if you just prosecute 10 of the system's used up assets, that's gonna be what makes people happy. Yeah, that'd be cool. But if that system's not taken down, then it don't matter. Their replacements are already in.
Exactly.
We already got Timu Obama, right?
That's right.
So we already got all their replacements are in, and they're primed and ready. So breaking down the system and getting a lot of the corruption out, and then making it so they can't get back in as easily is the way to do it.
Agreed.
Muffin agrees too.
Yes, she does. And she had a tick on her head the other day, dude.
Oh no.
She was like laying on my like between my legs and looking up at me, and I'm like petting her face, and she's just staring at me, and I like realized I'm like what, does she have a wart that's developed on her head? And then I like it's kind of dark, and so then I like shine a light, and I'm like, oh my god, it's a tick.
I do not miss ticks, man.
Worst. We took her into the bathroom, and I was like, Lisa, you got to hold on to her. And I took a lighter, and I got it hot, and I like was burning the tick, and you could tell it was like boiling the blood inside the tick. And and so then it like started like letting go, and I pulled it off, and it was like, oh my god, those things have a hella grip with their jaws. It did not want to leave. And it was like it was deep. It was deep embedded, but I got it out. I got the whole thing out, and she was very grateful.
Damn, so she was feeling that then. That's cool that you got that. Yeah, I hate ticks, man, especially growing up, playing in the woods, being in the Boy Scouts, playing disc golf. Everywhere you go in New Jersey, there's effing ticks.
Yeah.
So
same in Michigan.
There's none in Alaska, by the way. No ticks.
Really? Not a single one?
Nope.
Wow, that's cool.
Okay. Cool. There's no snakes. There's no ticks.
Oh wow. We got a lot of snakes down here.
Bears and wolves. Not a big deal. Yeah.
All right, sweet. Well, Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Enjoy DPH. I'm sure that's where you're going after that if you haven't already. And Brad, I love you. Merry Christmas, and say Merry Christmas to the family as well.
Merry Christmas, brother. Hope you guys all have a good one.
Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up on this video. And a special thank you to all of our advertising partners. Please remember to shift your dollars to support those businesses that support Badlands Media.